Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're here to do a Universal Epic Universe video. I wanted to talk about all the news that's come out, everything that I think about this park, because I haven't made a video on it yet, and I'm super excited to talk about it because you guys know on this channel, not only am I a travel agent, so if you guys want to support me and the channel for free, you can go ahead and reach out to me to go ahead and plan your next vacation, whether it be to Epic Universe, to Disney, to cruises, anywhere you want to go ahead and reach out to me. And obviously I do a lot of travel vlogs on here as well. And I'm really excited that I will be going to Epic Universe as soon as it launches, well, a couple of months after it launches, which we'll get into here in the video. But just to talk about Epic Universe and why I think it's so awesome, and what I've been hearing from all the people who have gone there, because now Epic Universe is open to friends and family of people who work there and stuff like that. So people have already seen some of the stuff, and some of the rides are operational and stuff like that. And I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys, so you guys can see if you guys want to go as well. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Guys, the first thing I want to talk about in this video that makes me excited about this park is the fact that this is the first park built with 21st century technology. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we obviously haven't gotten a brand new park from the ground up built in years. I don't know when the last one was, 20 years ago or something like that at this point. We're in the United States. We got a park to be super excited about that, again, was built from the ground up to use today's standards. Obviously, we have Disney and Universal that sometimes take rides and kind of demolish them and do a whole you ride all over again kind of thing. But there hasn't been a theme park that's built from the ground up with every single land and everything in a long time that's using technology in the United States built today that all of us can get excited about until Universal's Epic Universe. And not only is that in and of exciting for me in and of itself, it's the fact that Universal has apparently done a fantastic job with Epic Universe when it comes to the hotels, the food, the environment, the lands that they've designed, the rides that are there. You know, people are raving about this already, people who have already been there already, on how good this park is actually and how they're going to blow people's expectations away of what people were thinking. So not only is that super exciting that people are saying that, but it's also super exciting that we've never gotten a park of this scale opened in years. And that's what makes me excited. I've been wishing for a park to open with this kind of a scale that has all the technology of the 21st century when it comes to how parks should be done, how food should be done, how rides should be done, and kind of putting it up for us in the United States. And I'm super excited that that is finally happening. Now, when it comes to Epic Universe, if you guys have not been following the news, Epic Universe is Universal's third theme park in Orlando. Obviously, they have Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure that all of us have been enjoying for a very long time. This is the third park that's about a 10-minute drive from Islands of Adventure over to Epic Universe. And they have 5 distinct worlds that are going to be in here that people are talking about. The 5 are Celestial Park, Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, How to Train Your Dragon, and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Now, when it comes to these 5 theme lands, we're going to start off talking about Celestial Park and show you guys some pictures and stuff. As I'm talking about this, Celestial Park is like the main hub. This is like the hub world where you kind of adventure out into the other lands and stuff like that. And Celestial Park has a really cool look to it, that the hotel is sitting in front of it, has a nice fountain in the middle. People are talking about how good it actually looks and stuff like that. Has some rides in here as well, like the carousel that they talked about and the Stardust Racers that are over there that a lot of people are comparing to you know, their other main attraction over there in Islands of Adventure for Universal when it comes to the roller coaster Velocicoaster that a lot of people love back then that they built a couple of years ago that people are saying is really, really fun. It's like a dueling coaster that's over here, and the carousel that they have as well, and just the food options that they have here and all the different things that they have in this area. And then what's really cool is that the different lands that they have here and the different portals that they have, I love the design of how they're doing this, that you're in Celestial Park and you're in that kind of zone where it's like the main hub area and stuff. And then you have like these different like areas that are designated off to these different lands. Like Super Nintendo World will have like a gigantic portal. And this one, the same way they did it in California, will have like its distinct area that you can kind of enter into with a distinct portal and stuff like that, decorated to Mario. And when you look at the other ones, for example, like Dark Universe, it will have its own portal and it will feel like a dark universe, like you're entering the monsters of Universal and stuff like that. And then How to Train Your Dragon, again, has like the How to Train Your Dragon look. So I love that all these portals feel like you're being transported into another world, because once you enter that portal, you can't see anything else from any of the other lands. So it really feels like you're in How to Train Your Dragon, you're in Nintendo World, because no matter where you look, that's what they made in part of this design to make it feel like you're in that world and you can't see anything else from another world or from another place. That really makes you feel like you're in that universe, which is super awesome. Speaking of Super Nintendo World, obviously I've been to the California side already before. I did a video on that, so I kind of know what to expect for most of this land, but this land does have an expansion that was not in the California version, which is the Yoshi's ride that they built, which has been done in other parts of the world, but not in California yet. And then also the Donkey Kong Mine Train ride, which I really love. The Mine Train ride is all about, you know, and people have rode this one already, where you're kind of riding through there and it's like you feel like you're jumping on a mine train and stuff like that, which sounds super cool. From what I've heard, people are having a lot of fun with it, but it is rougher than people are expecting as far as like the roughness of the ride, but people are still having fun with it, so I can't wait to try that as a huge roller coaster fan. And then the Yoshi's one is like you're collecting eggs and stuff like that people are saying, and it kind of feels like a people mover where you're kind of going through like the different Yoshi areas and stuff like that and seeing that. And then of course you have Mario Kart's challenge over there, which, you know, I've ridden before, and you have like these AR glasses that you kind of wear over your head and you feel like you're in the Mario Kart, which is a great family ride and has been there for a while in California, and people are loving that ride as well. It's obviously a copycat, so nothing there that's, you know, different. I can't wait to try the new food there and the Donkey Kong Country land that they have there and to just explore that, because it really does feel like you're in a video game. That's what it felt like when I was in California, and I can't wait to see what Donkey Kong looks like and feels, because that's an extension of the Super Mario World land, and just seeing how that feels like, because when I walked into the California world and I walked in and saw it, I felt like I was in Mario. I felt like I was in Super Mario. I felt like I just walked into a video game, and I can't wait to have that same feeling, not only all over again, but also in the Donkey Kong area as well. So I'm super excited for that land, even though I've seen some of it already. Then there's also Dark Universe. Dark Universe obviously is the land that people are very, very excited about with the rides that they have in there, all based on the Universal monsters when it comes to, you know, Monsters Unchained, the ride that's over there that we'll talk about in a little bit. That land looks spectacular, and it seems like they knocked it out of the park, not only visually, because the concept art that you guys are seeing here is exactly what the ride the land looks like from what everyone is saying today. Like, they literally knocked it out of the park when it comes to concept art. A lot of times when you see concept art, that doesn't look anything like that when it's over. But in this case, they actually did it, and it looks amazing. And I'm super excited to, you know, see that land in person and take into and talk about Monsters Unchained here in a minute with that ride there. And just, you know, Monsters from Universal is their iconic thing. You know, Frankenstein and all that stuff is their iconic monsters from Universal. It's what kind of put them on the map. So to see this land and to see it kind of taking shape and to see have that dark side that people want and the horror side that people love is super exciting. And then, of course, there's How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon is a fantastic movie that a lot of us love. I did watch the first one. I still need to watch the second one before I actually go to Epic Universe. I don't know why I haven't watched the second one, but I do need to do that. And from what people are saying on this one here, this one is also coming out really good. We'll talk about more about what people think about this here in a little bit. But this How to Train Your Dragon area has like the roller coaster that they have on there. They have a little family ride there as well, different food options and stuff. And the land is the biggest land in Epic Universe as far as like the scale of the land and how big it is. It is the biggest land there. So I'm excited to obviously be inside that world as somebody who watched the original How to Train Your Dragon and loved the movie. Can't wait to watch the second one here when I get to it. And just being in that world and seeing everything that they've done with this concept art and kind of bringing it to life, again, makes me super excited for this land as well. And then, of course, we can't forget about Harry Potter, the magic. And then, of course, we can't forget about Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic. Obviously, Harry Potter was already done over there in Universal Studios as well in their other park. But now we have another section of it with the Ministry of Magic. And I'm super excited to explore more of Harry Potter. I mean, you guys know I'm a huge Harry Potter fan and a huge, you know, movie fan of watching the original movies, and obviously the park when they did it and opened up was amazing over there in Islands of Adventure, and going through the Harry Potter land and the train that they have there where you go back and forth and you actually feel like you're on the train and seeing them transported in the window. I mean, they did a fantastic job with that land over there, and I can't wait to see what this one is about. And there's already some rumblings on how good this land is, and we'll talk about that when I got to the people's impressions here in a minute. But sounds really, really exciting, and as a huge Harry Potter fan, I mean, I can't say more about how excited I am for this land. Speaking of when I'm going and stuff like that, if you guys want to keep track of that, make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for this channel, because I will be bringing you a bunch of different coverage when I go in August of 2025 here. I will be going with my cousins. We've actually, I can't believe this day is almost here, because we were talking about this when we were in Disney 5 or 6 years ago, and we were like, when it's 2025, we are definitely coming back for the Epic Universe launch, and we all said it back then, and here we are, and we're all going all over again here in August. I'll be going in the early parts of August, and I can't wait to showcase that to you guys here and show you everything that's in Epic Universe. We'll be doing half the week in Epic Universe and half the week in Disney, because obviously we can't go to Florida and not go to my favorite place and my happy place, which is Disney, which we'll be going to as well. So we'll be bringing coverage of both and checking out the new stuff in Disney that they're doing. I'm super excited for some of the shows that are coming back, and the light show that's coming back in Disney, and Little Mermaid and all that stuff, and the villain show that's all going to be there. Crossing fingers that test track is open when I go, because it says late summer. We'll see. I can't wait to go there. We're going to be staying at the Helios. We got the theme park view, so I'm really excited about that. So Helios is probably the best of the 3 hotels from everything that I've always read and heard. And super excited that we got reservations as soon as that hotel launched. And, you know, we're having a theme park view, so we get to see it right from our window, and we're going to be right in front of it. We got a dedicated entrance to the park. Again, brand new hotel, so I'm excited to cover that for you guys, bring it to you guys on this channel, showcase all that to you guys, and showcase, of course, Epic Universe. We're going to be going for 3 days to Epic Universe. First day is all about exploring the hotel and having fun at the hotel, exploring the pools and the hotel itself and the food options. And then we have a 2-day ticket to Epic Universe, which I'm super excited about. So we're going to be taking it in. We're going to have 2 full days to explore. We're not going to have to rush and just do it all in one day. So I'm really excited about that as well. Now, when it comes to first impressions, like I said, a lot of people have been going to these places already, from friends and family who work at Epic Universe. The thing that I keep hearing about that makes me super excited is in that Dark Universe area that we were talking about before, there's a ride called Monsters Unchained, which is really hitting people today as being like the best ride they've ever ridden. Not just in Universal, but just period. And this ride is kind of similar to like the Harry Potter ride that they have in Universal. It kind of uses like that mechanism with grabbing you with the hand and kind of showcasing it. But the biggest difference is that the Harry Potter ride over in Universal, the Universal Islands of Adventure that they did, uses a lot of screen-based ride, and it picks you up and kind of moves you around and stuff like that. And it's a lot of screens everywhere. For whatever reason, that ride always made me sick. And I mean, like, not a little sick, but like we're extremely sick when I went on that ride. It's one of the only few rides that I've ever been on in Disney Universal that actually got me sick for like a couple of hours after I got off that ride, which was obviously unfortunate. And I rode it twice, and it happened both times. I don't know what it is about that ride. I don't really have an issue with screen rides, but something about that ride gets me. And so hearing that this ride is based off that system made me a little nervous, because I was like, oh no, am I going to have issues with this ride as well? But there's a lot of people talking about the fact that they got sick on Harry Potter, the one I'm talking about, the castle ride over in Universal Islands of Adventure, and they did not get sick because this ride is much smoother, doesn't rely on screens, and it's more about like the animatronics. That's what people are raving about. They're raving about the ride system and how smooth it is. They're raving about the fact that they're using animatronics. I believe there's like 10 or 11 animatronics in here from the Monsters franchise that are in here, like Frankenstein and stuff like that, and people's minds are blown away, and they're saying it's the best ride they've ever ridden. I have not spoiled myself. I have not looked for people recording or anything, even though they're not supposed to if it is out there. But man, am I super excited about the fact that people are saying this is the best ride they've ever ridden, and how good it is, and the fact that, you know, I don't have to worry about getting sick on it, it sounds like, because the other Harry Potter ride that made people sick, this one is not making people sick on it. But man, everything about this ride sounds fantastic, and I can't wait to ride this one. The other thing people are saying is that the How to Train Your Dragon land is the most impressive out of all the lands. It really does feel like you're in the How to Train Your Dragon area. People are talking about how grand the scale is, and how, you know, like I said, it's the biggest land in there, but they didn't anticipate how big the scale is over this land. And the coasters are a lot of fun that they put in here. The food options here are apparently the best in all of the Universal area that people are talking about so far as the options that are open so far, because of course not everything is open yet. But from what people have tried, you know, the mac and cheese that I keep hearing about, the bowls area that they have like a bunch of different bowls and stuff over there are supposedly amazing. But I can't wait. Like I said, I love How to Train Your Dragon, but hearing the first impressions that people are saying how great this land actually is, and the scale of it, and just looking at the fact that like sometimes you have dragons flying around, and you see all the different characters in the movies and stuff like that, really making you feel like you're in there. Oh, I can't wait. Again, How to Train Your Dragon is such a fantastic movie, and it was a great IP to pull from and put it in the land. The other thing I keep hearing about is the queue lines. Not only is the queue line really good in the Monsters Unchained ride that we just talked about, which apparently the queue is like a ride in and of itself. But what I also keep hearing about is the Harry Potter ride, the Ministry of Magic, the ride that's over there. Unfortunately, no one's gotten to ride it because they're having some issues getting it up and running a lot over the last few weeks. So hopefully they get it up and running for the day one opening. But they have been able to walk through the actual queue line. And apparently the Harry Potter queue line is out of this world. Out of this world, apparently, that it feels like you're in and of a ride itself. People are sat there for 10 minutes just looking around and having their minds blown of what they did with the queue and how much money they put into just the queue line of that ride is apparently ridiculous. Apparently, Universal went all out on this park because of the queue lines that have happened on here, the rides themselves, the park, and it's just insane the amount of money that Universal is putting in here. They're literally going all out, putting everything on the table, and the queue line, apparently I haven't, again, spoiled myself on looking at anything as far as what the queue line is, but from everything I'm hearing and reading about, it's a sight to behold and really exciting. And I already know the queue line in Bowser's Challenge over there for Mario Kart was amazing, and I know it's a copycat, but like people are going to be blown away by that too. The queue line for that is fantastic. So hearing that Harry Potter is going to blow people away just in the queue itself, and not even the fact that the ride is something that they're still working on, makes me super excited as well. The next thing I want to talk about is if Disney should be worried. Should Disney be worried about Universal? I think they should. I think they should be paying attention really closely because now there's a lot of people back in the day that would just go to Florida and go to Disney because they would only go to one day to Universal or 2 days at Universal because there wasn't enough to do at Universal to capture you for a whole week when you went to Florida. But now with the 3 different parks that they have, and they have the water park as well, which is like one of the best water parks I've ever been to. So they have 4 different parks. You can easily make a week out of Universal. You got City Walk that you can spend a day in. You got the 4 different parks now where you can definitely double up on certain parks and stuff like that to see everything that it has to offer. People can now make a full week out of it. It's not like before where people would just go for 1 or 2 days and then they spend the rest of their time in Disney. Universal is now in great competition with Disney, and Disney needs to pay attention because I love Disney. Disney's my home. Obviously, I talk about it feeling at home when I go there for the holidays and being excited to go there. And the biggest thing about it is the properties. That's what it is for me. When I go to Disney, I feel like I'm home because I grew up watching Disney movies. I still watch Disney movies to this day, and you recognize those characters. And I don't have that same attachment for Universal, and I still don't to this day. Universal is still not going to have that attachment like it does with Disney music for me, and Disney songs, and Disney movies, and Disney TV shows that I grew up with, and all that stuff. But they are getting better with Epic Universe, How to Train Your Dragon, the Monsters Unchained stuff. Obviously, Nintendo World being an area that I love Nintendo and video games, so stuff like that is getting better. I don't think they'll ever match Disney when it comes to the movies that people love and the music and stuff like that, but I don't even think they need to. I think the thrills that people are looking for is really coming into Universal in its own right, and people are going to be super excited to spend time in that park, and Disney needs to pay attention because, you know, Disney has faltered sometimes over the years because, you know, the Tron ride, for example, was a copycat that they put in Magic Kingdom. I love that ride, but how the hell did it take Disney that long to build Tron in Disney's parks in Magic Kingdom, where Universal just built a whole entire park from the ground up within the last few years? Like, Disney needs to step it up when it comes to how long it takes them to do rides, especially when they're just copycats of other rides that they already have in other parks. And they need to build these things out fast. I don't think they need to build a whole nother park per se. I know that's what a lot of people are talking about, like, oh, they need to open up a 5th gate. That'd be freaking amazing. It doesn't sound like that's happening anytime soon. But they can do a lot of work within the current parks that they have. And that is what they're doing. They're talking about opening up a Villains Land, the Monsters Inc. land that they're talking about. But they really need to go all out and not cheap out. They really need to do what Disney or what Universal did and go all out with these lands, not take forever to build them, and, you know, go all out with the rides and the queue lines and stuff like that and really impress people. Because if they cheap out on those lands that they're expanding, like the new Villains Land and the new Monsters Inc. roller coaster that they're building and stuff like that, that I'm really excited about, and they cheap out, they're going to lose out a lot of share to Universal, and they should be nervous. They should be paying attention because Universal is here, and they got stuff to worry about if they don't step up their game with the rides that are coming soon, because Rise of the Resistance was amazing. It's my favorite ride that I've ever ridden so far in my life. And that's where I think they put a lot of time and money, and I think they did a fantastic job on there. But then other times they cheapen out on the rides where, you know, the rides could be a lot better than what they are. So we'll see what they do with these new land expansions. I'm obviously super excited about them. But they can't just do what they've been doing sometimes, just take a ride and just give it some refurbishment and call it new with a coat of paint. They really need to build new rides, and they are doing some of that by expanding some of the lands and stuff like that in their parks. but they need to make sure it's done well, done right, and really goes after the hardcore and really goes after and expands those lands and really goes after everything that people are looking for in Disney. I mean, Epic Universe is already talking about expanding the Epic Universe park. They already have plans to expand Epic Universe, which is freaking insane. The park hasn't even opened and they already know there's a lot of land back there for them to expand in the future. So Epic Universe is going to be expanding a lot in the future, and they already have plans and permits and stuff being worked on stuff of what they're going to expand to next. So, man, Disney's got to pay attention, and Epic Universe, I'm here for it. I can't wait. If I have two parks that I can go to for half the week, Disney and Universal, and I love both of them for different reasons. Like I said, Epic will be where I go for epic thrills and stuff like that, and seeing some of the movie properties that I love, and Disney's where I feel at home because of the songs and the stuff and the rides and stuff like that, then that's fine. I can't wait, and that makes me super excited to go to Florida every time. Tickets are actually on sale right now for Epic Universe. Like I talked about, you can buy single tickets now, which you couldn't before, which is awesome. So if you're going to Universal and you want to spend 2 or 3 days at just Epic Universe, you can now finally buy those tickets before single. Before it used to just be package deals where they would give you the other parks for Universal, but you can only go 1 day to Epic. So it's great to finally see that those are here now. There's 3 hotels. I talked about Helios, which is the one I'm going to be staying at. There's also, what's the other name of the other 2 hotels that I'm trying to think of right now? Stella and Terra Luna. Those are the other 2 hotels. Stella and Terra Luna, people have already stayed out, and there's a bunch of videos out there already with early people staying there and their openings. Helios is not opened yet. I can't wait to get there and explore that. That also is opening on launch day, but hasn't had any videos or coverage yet. That should be happening soon. But I'm super excited for that one with the early, looks at how that place looks like and having the theme park view and all that stuff. Super excited and very, very surprised on how cheap these tickets are to get into Epic Universe. I thought we were going to get hit for over $200 with the way things and prices have gone. But, the fact that most days are like $170, which is, great for just single days, still cheaper than a single day at Disney. And it's a brand new park that's opening. And I got a Helios hotel for the 3 nights that we're staying for super cheap in the middle of August. Obviously, August is prime time. And I couldn't believe how cheap I got a theme park view. I think it was like $1,500 for 3 days. And I think for a brand new park opening, being in the center of the park, having your own dedicated entrance, having a theme park view, and I'm obviously splitting it with other people that I'm going with, it's insane how cheap we got the hotel for something that's opening, has a grand opening and is opening, grand. I'm surprised that Universal's making these tickets as cheap as they are. That's my point. And they also started doing Express Pass now too. They're going to be available from day one. You're going to be able to get Express Pass. That is not included with any of the hotels. You're going to have to buy it. I believe those are about $130 more on top of the price ticket, which again is not bad because you get to skip the lines for most of the rides. I think the only rides currently that are not included is Minecart at Donkey Kong. There's also the Harry Potter Ministry of Magic that is not included in it currently. There's another one that I can't think of off the top of my head. That could change, and hopefully that does change, and they do add Harry Potter to it one time and Donkey Kong. And rotate that and let you go in there. But regardless, you get to do Monsters Unchained, which I talked about, and all the other rides that you get to skip the line on, which we may be doing. I got to talk about this with the rest of the party and see if we all think it's worth it, because we are going for 2 days, and see if it's something that we still want to pay for the Express Pass to have even more time. But regardless, that is all out there for all options. And again, you can reach out to me to help you guys plan all this. There's a lot to get into and a lot of things and options and package deals and all these hotels that you can get into. And even though I haven't stayed there yet, I have a vast knowledge of watching all the people who have stayed there, researching all this stuff, watching videos, and keeping up with the information, obviously, as a travel agent. So really, really excited. And of course, I'll be going there soon enough in August. So final thoughts, guys, on Epic Universe is it is super, super exciting. I can't wait for August. I can't believe it's finally here. After talking about it while we were in Disney 5 years ago, that we couldn't wait for this park to open, and that time is coming. And when they open up in May and people start going to it, and the coverage is going to be everywhere, it's also going to be super exciting. It's going to get me even more amped up to go in August. I can't wait to see the hotel Helios that we're staying at with that theme park view. I can't wait to, also go to Disney, because like I said, we'll be going to Disney half the week as well, and they have some new stuff that I'm excited to take a look at over there too. But nothing is going to compare to going to a brand new park that's opening for the first time, that's already getting a lot of press and buzz of how they're blowing people's expectations away and how good of a job that they did. And also, in my opinion, how cheap it is to go there. Like I said, you can stay at one of these hotels for 3 or 4 nights, and it's not breaking the bank. And you can get these tickets to Universal's Epic Universe and not break the bank either, in my opinion, and go to a brand new park in 2025. It's going to be amazing, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more coverage of this, make sure you leave those comments down below. And again, if you guys want to support me in the channel, it costs nothing to hire me as your travel agent, and I'll help you guys from the beginning to the end with all your questions and getting everything booked the way you guys want and saving you the most amount of money as possible. So reach out to me if you guys want to support me and the channel via email or any way that you want to reach out to me that you guys can find me. And thank you guys for watching. Until next time.